It will also fall to the next Commander-in-Chief to make good on the obligation our government accepts every time any man or woman enters the proud ranks of the United States military. And again, when they receive their DD-214. Those we depend on as troops should know, when they become veterans, that they can depend on us. The DAV has defined some of these obligations in your Stand Up for Veterans pledge. And though it's not my practice to sign pledges as a candidate, I will give you my word that as president, I will see that these obligations are kept, and I make that commitment to you today and tomorrow and yesterday and next week and when I'm president of the United States. Sacrifices made by veterans deserve to be memorialized in something more lasting than marble or bronze, or in the fleeting effect of a politician's speeches. Your valor and devotion to duty have earned our country's abiding concern for your welfare. And when our government forgets to honor our debts to you, it is a stain upon America's honor. The Walter Reed scandal was a disgrace unworthy of this nation, as Washington, Lincoln, and other great leaders reminded us. Americans who fought to defend this nation should always rank among the highest of national priorities. In practice, veterans must be treated fairly and expeditiously as they seek compensation for disability or illness. We owe them compassion and hands-on care in their transition to civilian life. We owe them training, rehabilitation, and education. We owe their families, parents and caregivers, our concern and our support. Veterans should never be deprived of quality medical care and mental health care coverage for illness or injury incurred as a result of their service to our nation. As President, I will do all that is in my power to ensure that those who serve today and those who have served in the past have access to the highest quality health, mental health, and rehabilitative care in the world. And I will not accept a situation in which veterans are denied access to care on account of travel distances, backlogs of appointments, and years of pending disability evaluation and claims. We should no longer tolerate requiring veterans to make an appointment to stand in line for a ticket to stand in another. And it's even worse if the line winds eventually to substandard care for America's veterans. I'm not here to tell you that there's a cost that is too high to be paid in the care of our nation's veterans. I will make sure that Congress funds the VA health care budget in a sufficient, timely, and predictable manner. But I will say that every increase in funding must be matched by increases in accountability, both at the VA and in Congress. And this absolutely requires an end to certain practices and abuses that serve neither our veterans, our country, nor the reputation of Congress itself. Exactly because funding VA programs command bipartisan support, some in the Congress like to attach unrelated pork barrel appropriations and earmarks to VA bills. The result is to mix vital national priorities with wasteful and often worthless political pork. Earmarks show up in bills of every kind and not just VA bills. That's how we end up budgeting hundreds of millions of dollars for bridges to nowhere, or lesser sums for Woodstock museums and the like. When that earmark for $1 million to fund a Woodstock museum didn't come through, I don't imagine that many veterans had to change their vacation plans. And the principle here is simple. Public money should serve the public good. And if it's me sitting in the Oval Office at the Resolute desk, those wasteful spending bills are going the way of all earmarks, straight back to the Congress with a veto, and you will know their names and I'll make them famous. When we make it clear to Congress that no earmark bill will be signed into law, that will save many billions of dollars that can be applied to essential priorities, and above all, the care of our veterans. But reform doesn't end there. We must also modernize our disability system to make sure that eligible service members receive benefits quickly, based on clear, predictable, and fair standards. And we must address the problems of capacity and access within our VA healthcare system. This will involve a wide range of initiatives. I believe there's a simple and direct reform that we should make right away. My administration will create a Veterans Care Access Card to be used by veterans with illness or injury incurred during their military service and by those with lower incomes. This card will provide those without timely access to VA facilities the option of using high-quality health care providers near their homes. Many of these providers are already familiar with the most common needs of veterans. And often what's missing is a system for sharing medical records among VA, DOD, and civilian hospitals and doctors. This reform will improve care, reduce risks, and broaden access all at the same time. Now, let me make it very clear. This card is not intended to either replace the VA or privatize veterans' health care, as some have wrongly charged. I believe the VA should always be there to provide top-quality care for our veterans. And I believe that the VA should continue to provide broad-spectrum health care to eligible veterans, in addition to the much-needed specialized care in areas such as spinal injuries, prosthetics, and blindness, services in which the VA sets the standard in medical care. Even so, there are veterans eligible for care who are not currently able to receive it on account of distance, wait times, or the absence of certain specialties. And for this group, the new card I propose will offer better alternatives to provide the benefits that they have earned. I don't want a veteran ever to have to stand in line to get an appointment ever again. That's my commitment to you, my fellow veterans.